Good morning and welcome to the Tradinformed Excel Trading Model live stream. It is May the 17th today and we are about 15 minutes before the start of the New York Open. Ren Vallow is here with me on the stream. How are you doing today, Ren?
Hey, good morning, Mark. How you doing? I'm doing well.
Good. So we've got the model open, and what I'm going to do in just a moment is I'm going to bring it all the way back to zero, and we're going to show how we're going to start the model. We're going to go through a brief bit of morning optimization, getting it ready, shipshape for the day's trading, and then we will set it live. So I've actually got it open at the moment. If we're in this situation, we've got it open, we've actually got a position on. So I'm just jumping into this today. Yeah, we've got a position here in NQ and volatility is just building up. We had something I think it was somebody from the Fed was speaking about an hour ago,
Oh, wow.
45 minutes ago. I don't know if you've heard anything about that, Ren.
Not yet. No, I'm just getting started for the morning here and hadn't heard any Fed speak or read any news articles yet. So is that what's driving the market higher?
We've had a good start to the morning actually. So if I can, in fact, what I'll do, just take one moment to display the. So I've got the. You can see this as well, Ren. This is the.
Oh, wow. We do have
This
a
is
large
the
rally.
CME chart. If I can scroll out a little bit, yeah, we've had this. So what time did we start over here? So I'm on UK time. So we started. We've been pretty good since the O. So we're already 230 odd points up this morning. This
Yep.
is the lows that we saw a few days ago, the end of last week. So seemingly we have put in a bit of a low, and we're pushing against some resistance already. So it'll be interesting to see where it goes here on a price basis. But we're trading on the 5-second time frame, so we don't mind too much. We'll just see what happens.
Yeah, it's a totally different time frame than the daily. But wow, that is quite a rally in the last couple of days. And again, Tuesday comes out to be like one of the very strong days.
Yeah. So exactly, yeah. Tuesdays. This is why we do it on a Tuesday. We know that statistically we often get a good start on a Tuesday. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to close down this trade that I've got open at the moment, and I'm going to go back to my Excel model here, and I'm going to save it so we know where we are. I'm going to close it down. So
Oh,
if you, so
so
just
go
to
ahead, Mark. I'll make a little note. When we do that, there is a way to do it right from the spreadsheet too. Instead of using the Rhythmic platform, you can just hit a Control S, and it will also close out a trade.
Yes, I've been using that earlier today, actually, Rome. You're
Yeah,
absolutely right. Yeah, we have got some shortcuts in here. That means you can control just about everything. Once you've set it up, you can control just about everything from the Excel spreadsheet. So just to say what we've got here and what we're demonstrating is an Excel trading model. This means that you can decide on your trading strategy and your time frame, and the model is there for you to actually trade with. So it's a full service spreadsheet. You can go all the way from backtesting, developing your strategy, you can optimize it, and then you can set it live in the markets to trade. The way we're doing the trading function here is we're using Rhythmic R Trader, which is a very nice futures trading platform. The reason we're using our trader, Rhythmic Trader, is because they already have an Excel function built into it. In the future, we will be expanding it to other services. So if you're interested in any other broker, non-futures brokers or Forex, whatever you like to trade, you can always drop us an email and let us know what you're interested in. But anyway, this version that we have got here and we're showing today is absolutely for free. It's a demo version. You can download it using the link below this video. So the first thing that I'm going to do, so I'm going to assume I'm going to start my trading day today, is I'm going to open up a chart. So I've got a chart here of NQ, which is the NASDAQ futures. We're up, as we mentioned a moment ago, about 240 points, so a strong overnight session. So NASDAQ futures up 240 points. So I'm going to go here, I'm going to click on Open Saved Spreadsheet. So I'm going to open up the version of the trading model that I want to use, and I'm using the same version, Ren, that we were using last week. I know you've been working feverishly hard on a new version, which I'm excited to look at. But this is the version from last week. So we've got what you do when you first open it is we've got to a situation where trading is disabled and the spreadsheet, the trading functions are effectively off. We're showing sold here. We've got a long only model, but you can always trade it long and short, but this is a long only testing version. And go here into the results tab. So this is what you would use to develop your backtest, develop your strategy, and to optimize it. So we've got just under 10 minutes left before the market opens, and we want to be trading the market open. So there's a number of things that we can optimize. So firstly here we can have a look. Every week I have a look at the profit target and see if we can make anything that works well with the current market situation. So we've seen from that 30-minute chart that the trend is up, but over the last little while on the 5-second bars, it's been very slightly sloping up. So I'm going to see if we can improve this at all. Get something that's decent enough to make a start. Now, one thing I'll note is that when the market opens, we're going to see something, we're going to see wider bars, we're going to see more orders fly into the market, and we're going to see greater volatility. So I'm going to just give it a little bit more room. If you can see what I'm doing here, so I'm adjusting this in terms of points. I've set a profit target. I'm going to widen it a little bit. Profit target multiplier of 20 points. So a winning trade that hits the profit target would make at least 20 points. You can get some positive slippage on that. And stop loss. And also we can toggle on and off the trailing stop. And this, as the name suggests, it trails behind the trade, only moves in the direction of the trade, and it's there to lock in profits.
Right. So what values are you using for your stop loss now? It's a little hard to see on the screen for me, but when you make a decision on your stop loss versus profit target, so you're kind of doing like twice the amount of points going for your profit target, and then your stop loss is going to cut it off quickly, right? That's the idea behind this.
Exactly. Yeah. So what I've set and not often a nice ratio, 2-to-1 ratio here. So what I've got here is 20 points. I've just zoomed in a little bit here. So I've got a profit target multiplier. I can zoom in a bit further actually. A profit target multiplier of 20, which means 20 points. Stop loss multiplier of 10, which means 10 points. So we've got a 2-to-1 reward to risk ratio, and trailing stop as well. That trailing stop is also set to 10 points and is based on the preceding bar's high. So that will move in the direction of the trade. So every bar, if we make a new high, and that the distance between that high and the previous stop loss is greater than 10 points, the trailing stop will move the stop towards the direction of the trade. Eventually it will hit break even, and eventually it will lock in all those profits and minimize the risk on the strategy. We don't always use them, but we're trying them out today.
Yeah, so you've got about a 70% win rate with that setup, with the current data that we're looking at.
Exactly. Yeah. So I'm just going to scroll over here.
It doesn't look like it produced a lot of profits, but it certainly didn't lose anything either.
Exactly. Actually, the slope is slightly sloping downwards. Let's see what happens when the market opens. The 5-second time frame that we know is very volatile. Why we're using the 5-second on this live stream is because we want to get some action. We want to see some trades, and we want to demonstrate what the model can do. It's not necessarily optimized for the 5-second time frame, but we should be getting a lot of trades. So depending on that will depend on the price action. As you say, Ren, it's 70% win rate, so we're not making a lot of money, but we're not losing it either. And sometimes that's just as well. When the conditions are right, we can set it going, and that would be the time to make good on the strategy. So we've got a simple strategy here. It's a momentum strategy. It works well on the NQ, Nasdaq futures, on a variety of different time frames. and it is using two short EMAs. And when the price is greater than the shorter EMA, so we've had a move upwards and the shorter EMA is greater than the longer EMA, then we have a trade.
Yep. Looks like a good setup. It's hard for me to imagine that we're getting 70% win rate and our profit loss is so small. That's the odd part of this setup. I was just looking at this and I'm like, wow.
Yes. Yeah. In this particular case, what we're getting is the losing trades on average. Actually, we can see it here. The losing trades on average are larger than the winning trades. So that's what's, even with it's nice to get a high percentage win rate. What we would like to see is average winning trade and average losing trade roughly equal. With a 70% win rate, we're going to come out ahead. So we have got 70% win rate and a higher average losing trade, which is why we're getting those statistics. But as we said, when market conditions are favoring the strategy, we'll hopefully see much better results than that.
Yeah.
So the model is ready. I can see that by going here, and I'll zoom in again to show you that we are on my time zone. Let's make sure we're completely up to date, streaming all the data. So are we streaming all the full data? We can find out from here as well.
There it is.
Yeah, there we go. So we've got the latest data, and I'm just going to make sure we are definitely running.
And then we can enable.
Okay. So there we go. So we've got 2:27 p.m., which is 9:27 a.m. New York time, and we're a couple of minutes before the open starts. So we can now go to our dashboard, our trading dashboard, and we can click Control E and we can enable trading. So now we can go back to the back test and see we haven't got any trades open at the moment, but as soon as we get, usually what happens in this strategy is we get a small dip and then the market moves in the direction, moves upwards again, and we will enter a new trade.
Yep. Yeah, at this point, we usually get quite a few trades on the 5-second time frame. It gets pretty exciting.
It does, yeah, exactly. So this is a demonstration. It's an exciting demonstration. This type of strategy will, I think, work equally well. In fact, I've tested it on the 15-minute time frame and I like that. There's a lot more time to get larger profits. It's not so crucial to get perfect execution, but you still have the strategy still have the model rather enforcing the strategy discipline, and that's really why we're doing this, isn't it, Ren?
Yep. And there you go. I just saw we got our first trade.
Okay, great. So what we're using the model for is to enforce the discipline. We've developed the strategy. We're looking to do it on the intraday timeframes. It is difficult trading on the intraday timeframes, A, in terms of execution, and B, in terms of the discipline of actually following the strategy.
Yep. We can take a look. We can see.
So yeah, we took a trade there.
Yes, and then probably as long as we get our profit target or our stop loss, it'll execute the sell for us.
Exactly. So
yeah, so
dashboard,
the dashboard gives you like a summary view, like you can see your trade sitting there. If we want to take a quick look at the dashboard, Mark, you can see that we recently just bought a trade, and you can see that we took a position. So that's hopefully, the next one we'll close out and we'll just see it go.
Yeah, so the market has just popped up. We've literally just had the open bell. We usually have an open bell from you, actually, Ren, don't we?
Yep. Yeah, the opening bell. Yeah, actually, I don't know if I have it running, but yeah, I usually do have the opening bell running.
Okay, so yeah, so we haven't had the opening
bell,
but we have just opened there. The immediate move. I'm going to have a look at the chart here. The immediate move was to the upside, and then we immediately moved downwards. as we're processing all those orders. So we've started up 240 something points. So there is a
Wow.
lot of buying pressure in the out of hours. So let's see if we get some selling pressure coming on.
Yeah, that's quite an impressive move for an opening bell. Let's take a look at our back test screen and see. Yeah, looks like we got a little bit of a profit on that one so far.
So
Oh
yeah,
no,
so we've hit
stop
the
loss.
stop loss on that one,
Oh wow,
and
it's hard to
so
see from the graph on the Excel, but yeah, it looked like it bumped up there for a minute.
yeah, so just going to pull back for a minute and wait to see if we get another trade in there. So, as I was saying a moment ago, Ren, the reason we're doing this is to give traders a chance to implement strategies that really would be very difficult to trade
Yeah,
manually.
almost impossible. Like on the 5 second time frame, it would be impossible.
Yeah.
So
There's so many different options. It's not just an algorithmic type strategy like this. There's so many different options, isn't there, for how you can use this. You can use it for execution. I
yeah,
mentioned last week that I know you've got an interest in the bid-ask spread.
yep,
There's so many different ways you can get the data, stream it into Excel, and use all the different functions, the calculation ability in Excel to set up like a strategy like we're doing here, or you can
yes.
check for certain conditions. Like you said a moment ago, we can switch it on and off. There's so many different ways that you can do this just using the flexible setup of Excel.
Yeah, yeah. It's basically if you have an idea that you want to implement, you can pretty much do it. So we're talking about like the spread between the bid and the ask. Sometimes on the Nasdaq or the S&P 500 widens up quite a bit in the futures market, and you can take advantage of that using Excel and measuring the how wide it gets. In fact, in this example, there is a bid ask spread which shows you that if it turns to a certain point, it turns red, so that you see it's getting too wide to trade this type of a strategy. But any kind of strategy you could think of, you can implement and automate it using Excel. So
Mm.
and it's very easy to change the strategies too. Just copying and pasting in. Like on our back test screen, you can update that with RSI or the MACD or whatever indicators you wanted to add. You could throw them right in there.
Exactly, yeah. So we've got a huge range of different technical indicators. You can program candlestick patterns. You can program times. So every day at 9:33 a.m., for example, there's so much flexibility. So we've got a question here from Ethan. Great to have you here, Ethan. Thank you for the great content. Thank you for being here. How are you importing your data into Excel? I have tried linking chart data from Rhythmic to my Excel sheet, but it doesn't seem to update in real time. Well, one thing you can do, so if you're using, I assume here you're using our trader and you have got, let me just close that down. I'm assuming you here have got the chart here in our trader. So you should be able to do what I did this morning. It demonstrated open a saved spreadsheet. But what you can do is just create a live streaming spreadsheet, and that will give you a template. It's the template that we use to base this model on. And it will just give you a template that will have all the streaming data in it. So once you do that, it will open up an Excel sheet on your desktop, and it will look, or at least a large part of it will look something like this.
Yes.
So I'm going to scroll up here.
And Mark, you
So
can demonstrate linking up a save sheet that's already opened. Like for the positions worksheet doesn't seem to be linked on ours, so let's link up the position sheet, and we can demonstrate that on Rhythmic as well. So if you want to demonstrate that for him, how he can do it.
you're right. Yeah, I have not linked that, have I? So
Yeah,
the
so it's a good
next thing you
example.
should do every time, and that's through talking on my part, what you should do is you should go to Rhythmic, open up this one as well. So what this does, the way Rhythmic works is you can link different things. You can link up, I was testing it this morning, multiple charts. So you could have NQ, you could have ES or whatever futures market you want. You can have separately streaming data. You can have different time frames as well. I thought that was quite interesting. So what I want to do here is create a live streaming spreadsheet linkable mode.
Yeah, that'll allow you to link any sheet that's already open on your desktop. So like you
Yeah.
might have that, you could have anything opened and you could link it up. So it could be like a custom spreadsheet that you developed yourself, and then you could link that data back into it. So it's kind of useful, and kind of why we're using Rhythmic for our demo, because it's an easier one to link up than some of the others. You don't need to have API knowledge or anything like that.
No, that's right. Yeah, that's exactly why we're using Rhythmic, and it is a good platform. I was
Yep.
not familiar with it before. There's a bit of a learning curve with it, but you've got a huge range of different markets. It's very good whether you're, um, I certainly expect it's used by a lot of professional traders, but also a lot of part-time traders as well. It's a powerful platform, and we're just plugging into that, and we're using Rhythmic to execute, or the Rhythmic software, our trader. There's a number of different brokers, in fact a load of different brokers that have offer our trader.
Yep.
What you can see on here, Ren, is I
It's
said
a
I opened up some different markets. I've got one here from ES, so that's something to be aware of. So I was opening trades on the
so
S&P
I have to
E-mini.
also, I will make a note, if you are actually using the live demo and you're trading and you do open up multiple markets, that'll impact the model. So just so that people will know, like if you want to do that, it's fine to do it, but the code that runs behind it, the VBA that's inside of the Excel sheet, we'll be looking at the row and column based off of the first market that you have on the top there. So if you're running NQ for a while, then you put on ES, then you'll be trading a market on your position sheet in the order that you see it. So the first one is the one it's going to be looking at. And you could trade multiple markets at the same time using these sheets. Like you could put in 10 different markets, but it's something to be aware of because you could actually get out of sync. If you had the wrong market on Rhythmic R Trader and you had a market in your spreadsheet, you could actually be trading one market and off the data of another. So
Yeah.
it's possible to do that because that's pretty flexible. You can put in there anything you want. So you have to make, I would say, for users who are just testing it out, make sure that your data that you're streaming is actually the data that the trading data you want to use. Because you could literally put a symbol in your spreadsheet like ES when you have the NQ data, and it would trade off the signals that the NQ is getting, and it would trade ES contracts. So that could be intentional too. You could do it
Yeah.
intentionally.
So that's highlighting the flexibility. It's something to be aware
Yes.
of.
Yeah.
You need a checklist
Yeah. It's like
to make
it's like
sure
a
this is a demo version. We're only using it with paper money, but when it comes to real trading, you've got to be absolutely ruthless on all these issues. And as Ren was saying, there's huge amount of flexibility as well. So um, you're calculating the technical indicator on NQ, but you're taking the trades on the ES or vice versa. Ren, what about intramarket analysis? What about dividing one price by another and looking for a ratio? Is that a
absolutely.
step too far?
No, you can absolutely do that with this software. Pretty much the sky's the limit, and you could do incredibly complex ratios too. So you could take two markets. A lot of people like to do spread trading across markets. Like you buy the Nasdaq, sell the S&P, and this type of trading with an Excel sheet lends it for that. Now to set up the backtest model probably require a little bit of work for the user, and that's where Mark comes in. He's an Excel master at this, so if you had an idea and you're having trouble implementing it in Excel, I'd say Mark can help you out, and I could help out too. So we're both pretty good at that. But Mark's the master of the backtest sheet. So I think that's anything you can imagine. Basically, two markets going against each other like a hedge spread. Where you take one market, buy one, sell the other, which is a real favorite I think amongst future traders because it limits risk. And that's why I brought that up about the position sheet, because you might actually have three markets. You might have the Dow, the S&P, and the Nasdaq running, or maybe you're going to use Bitcoin as your hedge.
Yeah.
So you could do all of those.
Yeah. So absolutely. So while he was saying that, Ren, that we were buying and selling all over the place. Let's
Oh
go
yeah, got
back
excited.
to
Look at that.
Yeah, so we were buying and selling all over the place. Actually, with the volatility, so
Oh,
what this is telling me is that
great.
10 was not enough, and I needed to. Let's see if I'm in a trade at the moment. Yes, I am. It's just open. 10 was not enough, so I think we need to, or I
Well, you
need
could
to.
change that on the fly, Mark, right? It would be okay if you know.
Yeah, we can do it on the fly. We usually would recommend against this, but we can set it. Just set that to 15. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go and calculate the sheet. That so just giving it the stop loss is a little bit more room for maneuver. Um, so what you were saying there a moment ago, yeah, this market volatility here that we've just seen is not ideal for the strategy that we're testing here today. What we really want to see are those big, strong, sustained moves, but
Yeah.
a lot of those occurred today, at least, out of hours. So at the moment, we're
Sure.
getting a bit of volatility, a bit of chop, but we're still taking lots of trades and demonstrating the principle.
Yep.
Okay,
And
so I've got another question here. So, Ethan, how do you link your trading signal from backtest to the place orders sheet for trade execution? So, very good question. In short, we've done the work in the background to link this up. So basically, the whole purpose of what we're doing here is to combine a backtesting system that you can use for testing, developing trading strategies, and it's more extensive than we're showing here. This is the demo version for you to test. So it's more extensive than this. You get more trading statistics, more metrics, and different ways to add and add new data. So what we've done is combine it so it looks exactly the same. When it's in trading mode, it looks exactly the same. So there is changes that are going on in the background, and how we have set it up is that this column here, and I'm going to zoom in it because I realize I do appreciate people looking on the video. If you're looking on a phone, it might look tiny. So I'm going to zoom in again. This column here is signaling our trade entries. Ren has written the code based on using the Rhythmic protocols so that we take a trade in exactly the same way as we do for a backtest. So we want it to be exactly replicatable, if that is a word,
yeah.
from going straight from backtest optimization to trading. So it uses exactly the same system. So quite simply, when we have a trading signal, which occurs on the last row here, the final row here, and a trade exit, which also would occur on the final row, that then executes the code which sends the signal. And I'm going to switch here to,
Just witnessed it happening. Yep.
yeah, we just saw that. If you could see the little pop-up that we're referring to, it sends the signal to Rhythmic, and there's been more pop-ups. I'm not sure if it's visible actually on the video, but it sends the
Yes.
signal here. I can show them actually. Because I saw this earlier. Because you were showing this, weren't you, Ren? Or maybe it's not going to show. No, it's not going to show. Okay, so it doesn't matter. Yep. So it's sending the signal to Rhythmic, and
Yep.
we get feedback back into the model in the form of, and I'm going to switch views here, in the form of this, which shows us our positions, our buy quantity, our sell quantity. I appreciate this is probably looks tiny, but this is what comes back into the spreadsheet, and we can use that again. So we know we're only going to open one trade at a time, for example. We know what our current trading situation is, and that is hopefully a fairly understandable summary of the process that we're using here. Ren, anything to add?
Well, yeah, it's just that basically all of the coding and everything has been done for you for the model. So if you download the spreadsheet, all that stuff is included in the VBA that takes care of looking at the backtest model and then executing the trades and sending that data back to Rhythmic. So that stuff's already been taken care of. And yeah, really, it's just a matter of linking your main chart that you're going to trade the data that you want to trade, so the S&P 500 or the NASDAQ, and then linking up your position sheet just so that the sheet knows which position is running. So if you have one long or you've closed one, you want to link them up so that your sheet is active and fully understands what's happening. And that's kind of what we're showing here. So if you download the demo sheet, you can, all that's already included, and just link, all you have to do is link the two sheets up to get a full trading model.
Yeah, that's the simpler answer. Thanks for that, Ren. Basically, it's all been done for you.
Yeah.
It all works in the background. All you need to do is develop the strategy. We can help you with that. Loads and loads of templates for you to different technical indicators. Most people have an idea, but you can start with the blank sheet as well. So whatever you have in terms of a strategy, whether you've looked at it on a chart, you can test it, make sure that it is robust with enough data points to make it worth your while trading. After that, the spreadsheet will take care of everything else. It will open and close the trades for you exactly in accordance with the strategy that you tell it to.
Yeah, absolutely. And it does take quite a bit of effort, though, if you were starting from scratch, just taking a brand new spreadsheet, linking it, and then creating all the trading logic. It takes a bit of time. As Mark and I have been working on this for over a year.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I've been developing I mean, preceding that, we'd been doing different projects leading up to it as well. So yeah, there is quite a lot that goes into it. Obviously, trading algorithmically is, it's a very worthwhile thing to do. There's lots of potential trading there that you just cannot do manually. But there are challenges, real challenges that you need to overcome, technical challenges, and just having the framework that you can use to do it correctly.
Absolutely. And one nice thing about using something like the Rhythmic paper trading account is you can get a good feel of what your performance actually would be if you tried to trade it with real money. And you're going to run into issues with latency. How quick is your system? How close are you? How many milliseconds does it take to get the trade signal off to the Rhythmic server, which is at the CME? So those kinds of things you get to find out as you're running it. And that's something that Mark and I are, that we look at it almost every day, the different aspects of that.
Yeah, absolutely correct. What we're becoming more aware of. I know, Ren, you were trading on a pretty high frequency basis algorithmically before, but I wasn't really, certainly nothing down to the 5-second time frame. But what we found is, and one thing that is part of our ongoing development, is that you really have to devise a strategy. If execution is an issue, it's important to the strategy. You have to deal with execution, make sure it's very, very fast. And if you can't get very, very fast execution, which is not always easy, then you need to devise a strategy that works with the execution you can get. So two different ways to approach the same issue, that you want to have the same or as near as possible results in real life as you do in your back testing.
Absolutely. Yep.
Okay, so we've got a few more minutes left of this live stream. We've just taken a trade, and I appreciate, again, it's very, very tiny, but we've just had a buy and a sell.
And it just sold it, yeah. And you'll notice the sell signal comes up on the Rhythmic platform just as it closes the trade, which is kind of cool to see. I haven't seen it paid attention to it like that before. Yeah. I'm usually looking at my spreadsheet, but that's kind of fun to watch the chart while it trades.
Yeah. Yeah, so you can do both. Yeah, charts are one of the things that we have as modern traders that are just amazing. They're really fast and a great way to view the market. They're not necessarily the best way to trade on this time frame because of the reactions and the challenges, the discipline needed to follow it, but they're still a great way to view what's going on.
They are. And I want to also mention, Mark, that if someone were to download the model, this testing beta, and would go into the charts and add like RSI to their chart, right? If they didn't add RSI to their spreadsheet, it would cause a problem. So I just want to it would basically, because your spreadsheet then would be out of sync with what you're seeing on the data. It's because Rhythmic would start bringing back down the RSI data, and you wouldn't necessarily be trading off of it, even though you would see it on your chart. You would have to add it to your Excel spreadsheet backtest model, just to kind of, because it's that flexible where you could add almost any indicator you can imagine, but you'd have to add it on both the rhythmic, most specifically to the spreadsheet. And then if you want to see it, you could put it on the rhythmic chart. But if you just throw it on the rhythmic chart, it doesn't mean you're actually trading from it.
Correct.
So,
correct. Thank you for that, Ren. Okay, I'm going to have to end it today, Ren. Thank you, everybody that's come in here on the live stream. Thank you, Ren. This video will be available. If you haven't managed to catch it all, you will be able to watch it on catch up. It is available on YouTube. I will be sending it around, so make sure you download this model. So we're going to be doing another live stream next week. Thank you for being here, Ren.
Yeah, and thank you, Ethan, for the questions. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, we appreciate the questions, and get in contact with us if you want more information about this Excel trading model. It is available for download.
All right. Take care, Mark. Thank you so much for hosting.
Yeah. Thank you, Ren.